Dial Models Workshop.
Hi, it's Yeji.
And Clint.
Hey, it's Larry. You are entering Models Workshop After Hours, a modeling podcast where we talk about miniatures, model painting, and we cuss a lot. If you can be offended, we're probably going to offend you. Then you're going to laugh and you're going to feel bad. And then we'll offend you again. And then you'll laugh again. You see the pattern. So kick out, sit back, grab your brush, grab your paints, and get ready to have some fun.
I can spray freely now, my paints are here. So many colors, I don't know what to choose. I'll start with a base coat and a wash, and then I'll finish with a highlight or two.
Give it up to Nando for the new portion of our intro. He finally got his airbrush paint, so rock on, dude, rock on. Hey, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the saltiest gamers in the world, aka the people that are attending Adepticon this year, because our asses sure as fuck aren't in Chicago. Another year, another gaming convention passes.
Yeah. I'm looking at all the photos and I'm like, I'm so depressed. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Mark
do
is there and
anything.
he's sending us all the pictures, and it's like I kind of in some ways want to tell him to stop, but I'm still enjoying seeing all the pictures. Yeah, so he's sending us all the different pictures, and I'm just sitting there going, he's like, hey, here's me with Lynn. I was like, hi, Lynn. Oh, here's me with Sarge. Hi, Sarge. So, yeah, I was joking around earlier. I was saying, it's like, hey, if I was a flavor of potato chip, I'd be fucking vinegar and salt right now. It's because not only is Adepticon going on, but GaryCon is going on. And for those of you who don't know what GaryCon is, it's the convention that took over in Geneva, Wisconsin when Gen Con left. They brought a new convention in. It's GaryCon, and it's named after Gary Gygax. So it's not big. It's kind of small, but all of the D&D people are there right now. Like Larry Elmore is there, Matt Forbick, a whole bunch of my author buddies are up in Geneva right now, and of course, like freaking Larry Elmore is like one of my idols. So I'm just like, oh, I honestly, if I had the choice, I'd probably go to GaryCon. I know it's not miniature related, but I got a lot of friends up there.
Well, and Antonio, I don't know if he's over there right now, but he was telling me that Paizo came out with some new miniatures for D&D.
I actually saw some of them. They're hard plastic, pre-primered, one-piece miniatures. I don't know, some of them are multi-piece, but most of them are one-piece, designed. Basically, they're bones, except they're made out of hard plastic. They're pre-primered, and they look good. And they came out like 2 days ago. And I know one store had them down in Texas, and that's the only store. I cannot find them on Amazon. I can't find them anywhere. And I'm just like, I'd like to get my hands on some and test them. But apparently this one store is the only place that has them right now. But yeah, it's a partnership. No, it's WizKids. It's WizKids in collaboration with Paizo and Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. I mean, and they're cheap. They're like $2 or $3 a piece. I was actually very impressed. So what have you been working on this week other than trying to stamp down that nasty ass headache that you've had?
Oh, God. And the headache's been going on and off like every other day or so. So it's been a doozy. But I've been painting. Woo! Painting Chibi Druid Girl, which I'll post up here pretty soon, and then the Rainbow Girl's finally finished.
Yeah, she's looking good too. Other than that one mold line that you're just like, screwed, I'm not going to do it because I'm a lazy ass.
Well, one, I'm lazy, and two, it's right at a place where I airbrushed everything, so I'm like, I don't want to go in and like, redo it and then touch it up with a brush, and then it looks like shit.
Lazy. That's fine. We can't all be motivated anti-mold line people. Not all of us can make a video that's an hour long on YouTube showing and explaining how to remove 1.5 inches of mold line.
Oh, gosh.
I did. I've been doing a lot of live casts, and actually I've come up with a new feature that I want to do, and it's Models Workshop on Air. And basically what it is a live cast of me on, right now it's YouTube. I might switch over to Twitch. I'm not entirely sure. Depends if people are like, this, if enough people go, this would be better on Twitch, Larry, I'd probably switch it over to Twitch. But for now, it's just on YouTube because that means it automatically posts on YouTube and it hits my Google AdSense automatically. But it was me. I was sitting there. I'm like removing mold lines on this new bust that I got from George. And I'm like, people ask me about mold line removal. Why don't I hop online and actually show people how I remove mold lines? And so I set it up and, it was, people came on and they were asking me some questions and, so I stopped during that time, and it's actually in a fairly complex place. It's like in the wrinkles of his neck. So I was having to go through the different techniques of, this is how you do it without erasing details. And this is how you do it with, this and that and the other, and sanding pads and all that good stuff. So yeah, I got rid of about 1.5 inches of mold line during a 1-hour video.
Well,
and people apparently
video wise, we got a new video set up.
Yeah, mine, I'm slightly jealous because your webcam is actually better than mine. Because I have the 920. You guys have the 922.
Yeah.
The only difference that I can...
Or whatever.
The only difference I know between the two is yours is 60 frames per second and mine is only 30 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. I think it's only 30 frames per second at 1080p, but when it's at 720, it's at 60.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 820s at 62. Because
I read
at that
on the
point,
box and it wasn't.
Huh. Well, shit. Speaking of odd advertising, I just saw news today. Arbor Freight lost a major lawsuit.
Of what?
That came... they were advertising their prices as being quote-unquote sale prices, and they actually weren't. So they were... Oh, yeah. But...
A lot of companies do that, though.
Yeah, but the judge fucking found against them. And as for those who haven't realized it, it is only Yeji and I, so we will be playing off of each other. So get ready for some potty humor. But I rearranged the studio again last week. I'm sure everyone has seen the pictures, but I made it an L shape where the computer's at the very end because I was having an issue with my microphone because the desk was in the middle. I couldn't get my microphone to cover both my unboxing area and my painting area. So now my painting area and my unboxing area are side by side and the computer's at the very end. So no matter where I'm sitting, I can actually look over and see the computer, which was another problem. And the microphone easily just swivels back and forth between both of the areas. So that's nice. And also it allowed me to set up a true workbench. And I got all my Dremel stuff hooked up. And actually I posted it up and Dremel's like, that's really cool. What are you planning on building? So that was kind of cool getting a response back from Dremel. I was like, arts and crafts and nerdy stuff. And they're like, post it up. We love seeing this stuff. And it's like, yay. But then last weekend, actually, I went to Brick World. I think I mentioned it on the last podcast that I was going. And it was cool. It was fun. I posted up a shit ton of pictures. And I saw some 40K stuff and some Battletech stuff that was all done in Legos, which was really neat. I know some people have a negative feeling on Lego 40K. But when you're at a massive stuff, and some of the stuff was actually really well done. Like, really, really well done. Especially the Battletech stuff. I thought that was very ingenious how they did all the Battletech stuff. But that's pretty much been my week, the live casts and stuff like that.
Did you see Brickworld like that post?
Yeah, Brickworld liked my post as well. No, Lego actually liked my post. When I posted it up on Twitter and I was posting some of the pictures, Lego, the company, actually liked my post.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Now, oh yeah, but that lawsuit, that was kind of weird. I saw that and I was just like, oof, ouch. And most people are, I guess you have to have your receipts to prove it. So most people are kind of like, I don't have the receipts from something I purchased 7 years ago. So more than likely it's not like on your honor, have you purchased any of these products like the Red Bull was. And they're like, hey, have you drank Red Bull in the last 5 years? If so, you are entitled to $13 or two 4-packs of, two 8-packs of, it was a 12, I think it was, okay, it was either something like 8 or 12 cans of Red Bull or $13. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's more money money-wise to just get the Red Bull, and I do drink Red Bull. So I was like, yeah. And so I was like, you know what? My wife's told me she drank a Red Bull. And so I filled her out for her too. Ended up getting like 24 cans of Red Bull. Clint did that too, I believe.
No, he didn't. We didn't take advantage of it.
Why? Why didn't he?
Know.
That makes no sense. He told me he was going to. I mean, literally
he says he's going to on some things, and then.
I mean, literally the only thing you had to do was like you had to have drank or you had to have purchased Red Bull in like the last couple years, which almost everybody in the United States has.
Not me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You're strange.
I don't really drink energy drinks. Like, we used to go through so much Mountain Dew, it wasn't even funny, and then I just kind of stopped drinking energy drinks. Also because I'm kind of... It's weird. I'm okay with, like, coffee before bed, but with energy drinks, like, I am pretty susceptible to them, and so I will start shaking, like, after one little drink.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So
you get that buzz. You got that buzz, buddy. All right, so quick shout out to the most awesome people that are out there. We gained a new patron this last time, Austin Shripp. Actually, no, he was actually, I believe, last time as well. So that's kind of cool. The other one that we have gained that's brand new, actually, is Kilroy, which is Colin Pritchard. And then, of course, our other ones who've been around for a while, Joe and then Max. Thank you guys for being on that $10 level. And then we have Kirk, good old Sarge, and then Jay Aiden, who's another creator. Ree, who's part of Models Workshop. Wayne, which is the guy I talked to you about last time about being the guy, or about the guy who's been a fan of ours forever. Kenny, James, thank you guys for being on our $5 pledges. And then other people who... Oh, man. Then we've got the Greenskins, a.k.a. Mike, and then Guildenstern, miss you, girl, call me. And then Mike, our train guy who's AFK, and then Scott, the new Beister, and holy crap, my phone literally turned off on the last guy. Yeji, talk about something cool. I'll be right back.
On talking about shout-outs, we had the... what is it? The challenge, the bingo challenge going on last quarter. And
yeah, that we probably should have advertised a little bit better.
We should have. But we actually got one person submitted to us, and it was Antonio.
Yeah, I was about to say Antonio, wasn't it?
Yep, Antonio. And he had the kind of like the Lady and the Tramp idea going on, so that was really cute.
Yeah. Next time around, guys, we'll promise we're going to hype it a little bit more. Because we really dropped the ball on that one.
I think we all had stuff come up, though. Like, that was a thing.
That, and we really didn't advertise it as much as we should have.
No.
We did a bad job. We truly did a bad job, folks. So,
but
we really should.
If anybody has any more ideas, I mean, I think we still have a couple up in our sleeves, but if they want to see a challenge for a wild card slot in the bingo card, then feel free to always message us.
Right. It's slowly loading.
Blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Ink does not taste good. Ink does not.
Not even acrylic ink doesn't taste that good.
It is acrylic ink. Anyhow.
All right. So now that I'm not rushing because my phone is like quickly dying. Awesome Trip. Thank you for signing on. I know you haven't went through an entire month, but I promise I trust you. Then of course Joe helping out with how he can. Max Latch. I'm still looking at getting details from him about his new service that he's providing. So I'll fill y'all in here soon. And then Colin Pritchard. He's a new person at our $5 level. Then we've got good old Sarge, Jay Aiden, Rye Bread, the Red. Then we've got Kenny. Oh my God, you killed Kenny, you bastards! Oh, sorry. Wayne Rogers, and then James. It was absolutely god awful. And then also at our $5 level, even though they're at the $1 level, we got Mike, and then like my favorite person who's disappeared. Come on back to me, mouse bait. I'll lay out the cheese. And then we've got Mike, Scott, Richard, Newbie, the Nubius, He just signed up. And then Scott. Good old Scott. But thank you guys. You are the people who make Models Workshop possible. Without you guys, we would have probably gone stagnant because, this allows us to buy upgrades and different type of stuff that allows us to also test new stuff and do reviews. Like I just picked up a new breather mask from 3M. It's actually pretty cheap. It was like $10 for the mask and like $8 for the filters. The fucking filters were almost more than the mask.
He seriously looks like he's gonna make some meth with that thing on.
I'm not making meth. It's my Bane mask. Come on, get it right. You've merely adopted the airbrushing way. I was born in it.
I
molded
think Walter White, is a little bit more.
I'm definitely not as bald. If I was anybody from that show, I'd be that little spazzy ass blonde dude. Fuck you, you fucking fuck. That's definitely more me. Aaron's character?
True.
That's definitely more my speed. Except I'm nowhere near as skinny as that little tiny bastard is.
No, you're not.
Thanks. You could have been like, "Oh no, you're fine. You're not that bit." Nope, you're a fat ass. Fuck you, Larry.
Bitch.
Hey everyone, just want to take a quick second to break in. I meant to mention this when we were actually recording, so this is kind of after the fact, even though you won't know. But I just want to give a shout out to a podcast that I've recently discovered. It's Drop the Needle with Cooter and Minx. It's two foul-mouthed females who talk about music, and they're super knowledgeable. So if you like music, or if you like this podcast for the potty humor, definitely you need to go check them out. Once again, that's Drop the Needle with Cooter and Minx. It can be a little difficult to find. Just look at Drop the Needle and then scroll down until you see Cooter and Minx. And yeah, they're freaking hilarious, and they're great, and they're funny as hell. So definitely check them out. Right.
I've been starting to work out, so I'm guessing that might be a source of the migraines too, because I usually have bad headaches, but these have been killer. I've been curled up in a ball, Clint's tried to massage my head and my shoulders and neck, and nothing fucking works.
He's massaging the wrong part of your body. I've told you, and you think I'm joking. Fucking rub one off and have an orgasm. Having an orgasm releases the chemical in your brain, and it helps open up the blood vessels, which usually helps get rid of fucking headaches. That excuse of not tonight, not tonight, dear. I've got a headache. It's actually the opposite. If you
no, seriously, it did not help.
Oh, okay.
It did not.
Well, at least you tried. Buzzing in the night. Buzz, 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 buzz.
No, Clint helped.
Tonguer size. 1, 2, 3.
But yeah, it did, nothing helped. And so I'm thinking it might be my muscles in my neck and shoulders kind of settling and pressing against different nerves that, strengthened muscles didn't. So
have you, if you're exercising and you started noticing some real bad headaches, are you staying hydrated?
I have been trying to, so that might be a combination of that too.
That's a big one. If you're dehydrating, that's really going to cause some massive headache issues. So you might really seriously want to consider drinking a lot more water. You'll probably notice your headache starting to go away a little bit if you do. But in miniature news, drink water. All right. So in miniature news, 40K, and I'm not 100% up on it. So if you want to go to the Warhammer community page, because it's there, this is not rumor, this is not speculation, this is 100% official. There's a new edition of 40K coming out, and an AKA 8th edition, and a lot of people are saying that it's going to be very Age of Sigmar-like. It's basically going to take all the good stuff from Age of Sigmar, all the good stuff from 2nd through 6th edition, and merge it into a single stuff. A lot of the stuff that we've asked for since the 90s is coming back, movement value, because it makes no sense why everything moves at 6 fucking inches. They're bringing movement value back, so characters will actually have, Eldar might move at 7, but Space Marine or Dreadnoughts might move at 3. Orcs might move at 4, whatever. It's the movement status coming back, which I think is amazing. I think that's something they should never removed. Also, instead of AP, because of all the craziness with weapons nowadays, they're bringing back armor modification, which was the 2nd edition throwback, where, for people who don't know, Terminators used to be 2D, it used to be a 3+ armor save on Terminators on 2d6. So as long as you rolled above a 3 on 2d6, you made their armor saves on Terminators. Terminators used to be fucking badass. So what would happen is a melt-a-gun, for example, and this is, don't quote me, I don't need some furious fanboy going, that's not how it is. But like a melt-a-gun would have a -5 modifier. So instead of needing a 3+, I would need an 8+ all of a sudden, because the modifier in the melt-a-gun would bring it to an 8+. So I'd have to roll an 8 on 2d6. And that's how armor saves used to be, and I think that's how they're going to bring them back, which if that's the case, awesome. I think that's going to be a welcome change, and those are the two details that I've kind of heard. I haven't really looked into it too deep because I don't really play that much, and honestly, I have not wanted to go to the different web groups that are talking about it because there are so many angry, butthurt little children out there going, oh my god, they're changing it! Oh! And they're not even giving it a chance. So... I have literally not even went there and looked, and I'm just like, you know what? It's not worth it. So, but if you want to head over to Warhammer Community, check it out. It looks interesting. It looks good. And if it's a lot like second edition, awesome. Now they said they're trying to make the games quicker, so they can't include too much second edition stuff because Lord knows second edition games were not quick. And there were also only like 10 models too. That's a big difference. Like nowadays, people are like, 1,500 points. I have 120 models. No. 1,500 points back in the day was like 22 models, maybe. And half of the points was in one character. It's the reason they called it a Hero Hammer, folks. But so that's a big news that just that popped out. And that was at the pre Adepticon news announcement. In other news, I guess they actually have released... So Badger has released 6 new Steinel Res colors. That's pretty much been spread around quite a bit. And it's light flesh, ebony flesh, light pink, oceanic blue, metal, and glossy black. And that complements their other range they have out, the yellow, the green, the black, white, gray, and I said yellow. I'm missing one. But anyways, brown, red, no, it's red, brown, yellow, flat yellow, black, white, gray, and a partridge on a fucking pear tree. Okay, then it's a green. Then it's a green. So that's the last color. So there's now 12 Steinel Res, and I know someone called me out on it because I said 2 years ago that I'm a Vallejo fanboy, and I don't think I'm going to switch over. But with the wider range of colors that Steinel Res has been coming out with and actually playing around with them more, I've been using Steinel Res a lot more than I have Vallejo. And for multitudes of reasons. Like Vallejo is very fragile during the first 24 hours. If you do not let it cure, it will rub off the model. Steinel Res dries a hell of a lot quicker, and it bonds a hell of a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. I've never had an issue with either of them out of my airbrush. Some people said that they're having issues with Vallejo. Some people said that specific colors of Vallejo are really bad, but like light gray, which is what I tend to use, is actually really good. And it's just... But anyways... For the cost, as long as he keeps it flowing, and the big problem that Steinel Res has is acquiring it, honestly. Like half the time you try to find it and it's like, you can't find it anywhere. Unless you go to the website that's designed in the 1990s and hasn't been modified since. Web Airbrush. And they usually keep a good supply of it. But no, I really like the oceanic blue. I'm looking at the oceanic blue and the light flesh and going, ooh, I like both of those a lot. So I'll be picking both of those up at least. Gloss black, probably not. I use All Cards Glossy Black because it has a mirror finish. And the test pictures I saw, it is glossy, but it's not glossy. And when I need stuff, if I need a glossy black, that shit needs to be like mirror shine glossy black. So I'll just stick with All Card, even though it is more expensive. But that's also because I'm using specialty paints like holographic and color changing paint that require a mirror finish. So if you just need something a little shiny, the glossy black is good. And also for those who are living under a rock and haven't seen it yet, there's a new Privateer Press bust out. It's General Adept Sebastian Nemo. And it's you can actually find it online at their web store. They're doing something pretty cool. They're so if you go over there, which actually they said they're going to have it on their web store during Adepticon. So I don't know if after Adepticon they're going to pull it off. I don't know. So if you're listening to this,
with the the Scar Bust last year. It was up for Adepticon, and it was still up like a couple of days afterwards, but it sold out so fast.
No, it didn't. No, it did not, Yeji. No. I bought mine like 2 or 3 weeks after Adepticon. It took 6 months. I want to say it took 6 months for them to sell out of the Scar Bust, which, to be fair, it's a bust, which are notoriously not as popular as typical miniatures, and it was kind of expensive, $40. So, and it was 250 pieces. So honestly, that's not bad. I mean, 6 months to sell out
500 pieces?
It might have been 500. But I remember when Dallas made the announcement in the Scar group that they're officially sold out of the Scar Bust. The sad thing is from what I've seen, they really haven't maintained their value. They're actually, you can still find them for not much more than what they retailed for. So they're definitely not a collectible item. So don't go rushing it. This isn't Kingdom Death, folks. Don't go rush out and buy 3 fucking Nemos thinking that you're going to turn around and make a profit off of them. It's probably not going to happen. At least not for the next 5 years. Now, speaking of the Nemo, have you've seen it, right? Honest opinion of it.
I wouldn't get it, to be honest with you. Just because I'm not too much of a fan of like bulky, heavily armored people.
Right.
But it's still well done.
It's well done, but you look at their Scar model, and then you look at the Nemo model, and they are on 2 different levels. They really, really are. Scar is this intricately detailed, very organic, beautifully done model, and Nemo is a lot of armor, large blank plates, and honestly is boring. I mean, it's a boring freaking model. I've seen other casters in their range that would have been a lot better in the bust treatment, but I'll probably eventually get it because I'm going to try to maintain, if they're going to release a bust a year, I think I'm going to attempt to maintain my collection and get all of them. If they ever start releasing more than one a year, at that point I'll probably sell them.
Okay,
because,
plastic crack hoarder.
I do need to
in the same boat with you.
I need to liquidate some of my stuff.
They've released some more chibis out from the Way of the Fighter Kickstarter, and I've been looking at them pretty much every day going, should I get them? Should I not get them? Should I try and go halfsies? And then I'm like, wait, no, I wouldn't go halfsies because they're all the chibis. Like, they're all mine.
So, speaking of busts, this one dude who I've never met before has this... I shared a screenshot of it, I do believe, into the group. It is almost a 1-for-1 scale Ninja Turtle.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, holy shit. It's like literally 1-for-1 scale. It's fucking huge. And I'm like, wow. And the guy's like, yeah, 130 including shipping. And I'm like, oh, that is so tempting. And oh my
like, God. I was only going to do the head, but... And then it's like on to the shoulders.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, I really wish you'd only done the head because then it probably would have only been like 90. But it's huge. I almost wish it was smaller. I mean, it's fucking ginormous. The head of the model is almost the same size as my damn head. And I'm sitting there going, where the fuck am I going to put this thing? I don't think I have room in my display case for it.
That's why you don't get it, Larry.
But it's a Ninja Turtle.
Do not.
It's a Ninja Turtle. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I can even George's stuff as I'm sitting here looking at 5 of his busts on my table, even George's stuff I can say no to, but this is a Ninja Turtle. And then he finishes it off with, oh yeah, I'm working on Splinter. Really? And the Splinter's looking pretty good too. I just don't understand why they're so big. I mean, they're fucking huge. That's what she said.
That is what she said.
Oh my God, it's so huge. But nah. Yeah, that was the big thing I saw, and I was just like, holy shit, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. All right, so getting into... Oh, is there any other news that you've heard about?
No.
Before we went... I think it's Nickelodeon. That'll probably get me a copyright flag. Nickelodeon has copyrighted flagged your video. Yeah, of course they did.
Isn't that Super Mario Brothers?
No, Nickelodeon.
Oh.
Mario Brothers would be do 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 do. Now we'll let Nintendo and Nickelodeon fight over the money. All 20 cents. All 20 cents. Oh man. So, all right. So let's get into hobby talk. And this, the topic this time around is painting flames, because there's a lot of misconception when people paint flames, and it stems from how we were originally taught how to paint. All right. So no matter what you're trying to paint, whether it's typical traditional flames, which are red and orange and yellow and all that good stuff, or magical flames that are blue or green, or, you know, a multitude of purple, whatever you wanted to make it. Flames are not done like traditional models, because we're always taught to go from like the darker colors and work our way out to the light colors, which is not how flames are. Flames are actually the opposite. What you want to do whenever you're working with flames is to remember that the hot is the light color. Like white is the hottest flame there is. And then it goes to blue, then it goes to yellow, and then it goes to red. And then finally it works its way up the spectrum. And then it goes into like ultraviolet, which is your purple flames and all that other stuff. Unless you're talking about chemical reactions. But so whenever you start on a flame, you want to always start by basically painting the entire damn thing white. And remember, at the source, like the bottom, if it's a torch, at the bottom, it's going to be the lightest colors. So if it's not a super hot flame, then you're going to want to paint the entire thing yellow. Base it in white and then work your way up to a yellow color. If it's a low burning flame, you can even go to orange. Now, if it's a really hot flame, you want to keep that white and then move the yellow up the flame a little bit, away from the source. The farther away from the source, the cooler the flame is going to be. And that's where you get your color change. And that's what you need to really keep in mind, is away from the source, it cools off. And that's where you're going to start getting into the darker colors. So at the bottom on a normal flame, like a torch, you're going to be yellow, and then you're going to move up a little bit. And also not only up, but out. So if you have a flame that's very billowy, like in the crevices, it's going to be painted white or yellow. And then as on the outer wisps of the flame, you're going to want to maybe paint that a little bit of orange or a little tinge of orange. And this is where glazing comes into a big effect. Glazes are basically kind of like washes. They're very thin. They're very transparent. But a glaze is actually designed to stick over the entire surface of the model. And it may pull a little bit in the crevices, and that's fine. But the glaze is going to cover the entire portion that you're painting. So you can glaze the upper portions, and then as you move up, you can let it settle. And what happens is, as you let it settle, it gets a little bit darker even. And then that's where you get your gradient. So after you're done with your oranges, you can go into your reds, because the very tips of the flames are going to be an orange red color. And usually you're not going to get flames that go above that, because at that point it goes into the invisible spectrum, infrared and ultraviolet. That a lot of people, what they do is they like to paint their flames red on the bottom and then yellow on the top. And yes, is it eye pleasing? It is. It actually is. It does. The weird part about that is it doesn't look wrong unless you think about it from a scientific standpoint. It really doesn't look wrong. It actually looks right. And proper flames, in some weird way, almost look wrong. So as you're painting them, a lot of people will try to do the reds on the bottom and then move up to the yellows, and that's not how it goes on a typical flame. Now, some wood burning can do that, where inside the fire itself, like in the logs, it'll have a deep red color. And that's caused because there's not a lot of oxygen getting into the wood, if you want more of a scientific breakdown. So it's going to be like an ember. And also the wood itself is more embers than it is fire. Once the fire comes off of the embers, at that point it's oxygenated and it's nice and yellow. And as it moves up, it turns into the yellows, or it turns into the yellow orange, the orange, and into the orange red. And that's as it cools, as it goes up into the sky, or it goes out a little bit. But a lot of people try to always paint it orange on the bottom, yellow on the top, and that's just not how it is. Now there's certain, and I honestly, if you're painting a flame, the best thing I can tell you to do is go out and find pictures of what you're doing. If you want to do a nice campsite where you have logs sitting there, find a nice picture and emulate that, because that's where you're going to get it the best. You take the logs, you're going to paint this, and then you take that and you're going to add this, and boom, it looks realistic. But for small stuff like torches and everything, it's always going to be hot on the bottom, cool on the top. So light on the bottom, darker on the top. Another thing that came up with Mark a month ago is he was doing an explosion. And one thing you also have to remember about the explosion is that like if you're doing explosions, which it follows the same law of flames, is that it's going to be incredibly hot and bright at the center where the actual explosion happens, and it's actually going to become orange and red as it flows out. Also with explosions, especially big ones, the actual outer wall is typically going to be brown and gray. It's not going to be yellow. Unless it was unless it was like a flashbang grenade or something. But an actual bomb that explodes, it's going to be more cloud, and it's going to be a cloud of stuff that's picked up from the ground and sprayed out. So for like realistic explosions, what you're going to want to do is most of it's going to be brown and gray, and in the cracks between the walls of dirt where you can actually peek in, that's where you're going to see your reds and your oranges and everything else. And you probably won't even see the white, because it's all going to be hidden away. But for like explosions, for dioramas and everything, that's how you get it to look realistic. If it's just a big ball of yellow and orange, it looks cool, but it's not realistic. It would be you could do your ball of orange and yellow and paint everything and make it nice. And then after you're done, basically spray the outside with a gray and a brown mix in different spots, and make it molted, because that's where the dirt's going to come through. And so that's along the lines of realistic explosion. And sometimes you don't want it. Diorama people, they want the realism. But like Mark was like, no, I'm going to stick with this explosion because it's a chibi. It's supposed to be more cartoon-like. And that's a valid argument, because chibis are cartoon-like. And a cartoon explosion is pure yellow and pure red and pure orange. They don't have the dirt that gets kicked up or anything else. So it was a very valid argument that he had. And it's like, okay, I can see what you're talking about. Rock with it, bud. So that's the nitty gritty to flames. Remember, light at the bottom, dark at the top, light on the inside, dark on the outside.
And if you forget, take a look at photos of lava, because that's how lava, it's a molten fire that hardens up when it cools, and that'll kind of remind you. Exactly.
That's a perfect example. Lava's a great example of it. Campfires, you can see it yellow on the bottom, and it starts going a lighter color, a darker color up top as it cools. I'm sitting here looking around my studio like, where'd my primer go?
Up your butt and around.
No, because then I'd know where it's at. Where did my primer go?
No, I thought it was like throwing a sausage through a hallway, or a hot dog through a hallway.
That's your butt, Yeji. That's your butt.
No, because nothing.
Oh, my bad. That's like throwing a Tic Tac through a something that's bigger than a Tic Tac. Fuck, I don't know.
Larry fail.
So yeah, epic failure. Insult. Negative 10 points. So last week also I got in the mail a large quantity of brass metal and brass stuff from K&S Precision Metals out of Chicago. Oh, shit. Speaking of out of Chicago, I guess Badger has a new airbrush out that they haven't announced yet, that's available up at Adepticon, but no one has posted a picture of the damn thing yet.
I've seen a photo of like the limited or whatever.
I have Lynn.
I've seen it of the box.
Yeah. I've seen the box. Lynn posted a picture of the box, but I have not seen the airbrush yet. And from her explanation, it's somewhere between a mix of the Patriot Extreme and the Sotar 2020. So I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Definitely probably should have been what came out first, but all right. I can't wait to see how they're going to price this thing, because if it's like a Sotar, technically the MSRP on a Sotar is $420, even though no one ever pays that much for that airbrush. Ever. The most I've ever seen that airbrush for in actuality was like $200. But yeah, so yeah, Badger has it. But going back, K&S Precision Metals out of Chicago sent me a goodie box of a whole bunch of stuff that to use on videos and to do on tutorials and to do workshop stuff with. And so not exactly I guess I can say they are sponsored videos, and I know that kind of goes against our policy about sponsored stuff, but let me explain. One, go find me another maker of precision metallic brass rods. Yeah. All right. I'm waiting. Yeah. Okay. And two, I've literally been using this, the K&S product for 14 years, maybe longer. Yeah. Like one of my videos from 10 years ago is sitting on their website as an instructional video of how to use one of their tools. And I think that's partly why they're like, yeah, sure, make more videos so we can post them up on our website. And I'm sitting there like, sure, fine, go ahead and post them up on your website. I'm cool with that. But they sent me like, it is just basically a whole bunch of their metal material, all rubber banded together, and all the tubes are stuffed full with other tubes. Like they're so stuffed full, it forms a solid rod. We're talking like 1/2 inch all the way through. I picked it up and it telescoped out like 5 feet. I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? Well, yeah, so it is a sponsored video, and I'm very, very particular on who I do sponsored stuff for. But K&S Precision Metallics, yeah. I mean, one, it's a very unique product. Two, I've literally been using them for 10 years, and I tell everyone, this is what you should buy for your pinning material. But it's $3. Yeah, it's 5 feet for $3. How many pins is that going to make you? And they're precisely a particular size, so you can buy exactly the right drill bit for it. But hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Hey, do.
Arthur?
I've never seen that show. That's the scary part. I was watching the React channel, and it was a versus battle where they were trying to guess themes before the other person, and the freaking Arthur theme was one of them. So now for like the last 4 days, I've had the Arthur theme stuck in my freaking head. So hey, what a wonder! And I've never seen the show ever. Actually, no, I that's a lie. I saw it once and I found it incredibly annoying, so I stopped watching it. And I guess it's proven the fact that it is incredibly annoying because I got earwormed with the. It's almost like SpongeBob. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yellow and porcity. Oh, but moving along. But yeah, that's proper flames. And honestly, if it looks good to you, rock one. But if you're wanting to enter something into a competition, or you wanting to do something like diorama, found my primer. Take your time and actually, oh yeah, shake it, baby. Take your time and actually do a little bit of research. It'll make your model look so much better. And a lot of the stuff can be found online. I mean, if you just have to look and just type in campfire at night, and you'll find plenty of pictures of campfires at night. What are you working on right now?
Lehman Russ.
Lehman Russ. Ooh. Oh, rumor has it that Mordian's going to be the next Primarch released in 40K, because they released a whole bunch of Mordian. He's the Primarch for the Death Guard.
Oh.
The guys that turn into the Nurgle Marines.
Oh.
Because they, of course, they released a whole bunch of new Death Guard models and Nurgle stuff. So the speculation is that it's going to be next. Now, here's something I've noticed. A lot of models have been disappearing off of the Forge World website, to include the Thunderhawk. Take this with a 5-pound bag of salt, or, as much salt as we have, which is even more. But
right now,
it may, next week will be fine. Right now, we're salty. But the rumor has it, again, it's not the first time this rumors went about, but that the Thunderhawk is going to be coming out in plastic. And with them running out of the Thunderhawk on the Forge World website, I don't know. That could be it. I mean, or it could be they just ran out of, or they're making more molds, or they had a production problem, or 100 different actual reasons. Or they could be putting it out in plastic. I think that would be, I honestly, I look at that kit and I think it would be a good translation into plastic. So, especially with all the GW stuff all the Space Marine stuff that they always push. I think, to me, honestly, a Thunderhawk in plastic makes sense. Because they would make their money back and let Forge World do something else other than what is now almost a mundane model. But on the same token, in some ways, it's almost cheaper, probably, that it's in plastic or in resin. Because right now, honestly, buying Forge World stuff isn't that much different than buying plastic stuff. It's not like it was back in the day, where the resin stuff was so much more expensive than the plastic stuff. Because the resin stuff really hasn't went up in price.
Is it really not?
No, not really. I mean, it has a little bit, but not compared to to be fair, not a lot has changed with the Forge World stuff. And to also be fair, a lot of the stuff that, like, Forge World used to be the super hyper detailed stuff, and GW's plastics are pretty effing close to matching the quality.
Yeah.
I am literally brushing on Stynylrez.
I've done that before.
Well, y'all bitch when I run my air compressor.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're or the mic a blowjob.
Maybe I am giving the mic a blowjob and it really isn't my air compressor.
Oh. Your wife must be very happy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm actually doing the primer work on the dude that's going to end up becoming my avatar. It's funny because I hopped on, George was doing a live cast and I was talking with him and he was like answering back. Like everyone else was trying to talk to him and he was like, "Hey Larry, what's going on?" I don't know what I've done to befriend that man, but I ain't bitching. He's a cool guy just to bullshit with. He must like something I'm doing.
I've done that with Laser Shark and Manuel. I've talked to him quite a bit.
He's a cool guy too. Oh, yeah, I might as well tell you now on the show now that I remember. There is something in your box for me.
What?
I don't know. He just told me that there is something in your box.
Oh, for you?
For me. Yeah.
Hell,
I don't
I'm
think
not gonna
he
ship that off to you.
Fucker. I don't think he realizes that we live, like 2,000 miles apart from each other.
Probably.
And he was so excited about his Kickstarter ending. I didn't want to inform him, like, because actually, well, I pledged $1 on the Kickstarter. So whenever he sent out the surveys, I could, drop the $20 because it ended at such a very awkward point. And I was figuring, it's going to take a month or so to get everything done. And he did it like a week. He finished everything in a week. And I was like, well, that doesn't fucking help my situation any. He's like, don't worry about it, man. Just check Yeji's box. And I was like, I've been trying to for the last 5 years. She keeps saying no. And Clint tells me no.
Of course. He doesn't like to share.
I'll watch.
I don't like to share.
I'll watch. Hey, you got that?
Like that either.
But see, you said he doesn't, but he didn't say anything about you.
I don't know. I'm not much of an exhibitionist, so I don't know.
But I am a voyeur. Nah, you're probably more the voyeuristic type too. People watcher.
I don't know. Never been put in the situation before, so I don't know.
I don't mean like watching people have sex. I just mean in general, watching people.
Oh, in general, yes. Watching people is pretty fun and making fun of them.
That would make you a voyeur. Voyeur doesn't mean that you have to watch people fucking. It just means you like watching. Period.
I just thought it meant like you have to be a peeping Tom to be like a voyeur. Like
No,
you had
no,
to be
no.
sexual to be a voyeur.
Huh? No, voyeur literally no, I don't know what the literal translation is, but it translates into someone who likes to watch, or just to watch, and it doesn't have to be a sexual act, just to watch. Oof, this is so much sloppier brushing it on than it is airbrushing it on, but it does work. Someone told me that, like, yeah, you can use Stynylrez to brush on, and I was like, really? I was like, okay. And someone brought it up a couple days ago, so yes, you can in fact brush on Stynylrez. It is definitely rougher compared to airbrushing, but it seems to settle down. Yeah, I'm using a 1/4 inch, might not even be a 1/4 inch brush, but I'm using a 1/4 inch half brush, flat brush, and just basically brushing it on and putting a nice, not too thick layer. But all the details are there. They're all popping, and it is giving me some good coverage.
Oh, which did I tell you? So the guy that I'm doing the Lehman Russ for, he and the guy that I did the what is it? The Alpha Legion dude, Dynat. So I did Dynat first, and they were like, just make Dynat look really cool, really close to the Forge World photo of him. I'm like, okay.
And so it looked really good.
Thank you. And so I did that one, and then, so this guy with Lehman Russ, he comes over and he says, hey, Yeji, can you paint this better than Dynat? Because they apparently played the legions that are against each other.
And they are.
Yeah, and so as I'm working on this Lehman Russ, just like last week, the guy that I did Dynat for, he comes back over to me and he's like, Yeji, can you do, what's the name of the model? Arman. Can you do Arman better than Lehman Russ? So this is just going to be an escalation of them plus, getting me better at my skills.
Nice. Eventually, you're gonna have to contact Lois or Louise and be like, "Hey, how do you do your Skittle Marines?" Actually, Aramon and her Skittle Marine style would look good.
Yeah, no, I'm actually gonna try and see if I can emulate Kaha. I don't know if you know of her stuff. Yeah, you do.
I don't recognize the name, but I've probably seen her work.
Kaha Katarzyna Gorshka. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Probably not. You're probably butchering it like I butcher names.
But yeah, she does some fantastic like line work with like the colors in them, and he wants him kind of like the casting magic and stuff. So we'll see.
So she does a lot of blocking, like hard blocking on her colors.
I don't know if it's hard blocking.
You'll show me later. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh. So I don't know who asked who. And I don't know if you saw yet, but you remember Chloe, right? LTP, Learning to Paint?
Yep.
She's engaged to get, she got engaged.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. I was very, very exciting. I didn't know she was even dating anyone, and she's been kind of doing her own thing, which is fine. She's been really focusing on the military. She's in the UK Air Force, I do believe. So, but she's in the Air Force over in the UK, and she was, okay, so she just got engaged, and her fiance's named Rain, and they are absolutely the cutest couple. It was kind of weird because it was, okay, so Rain is a girl, Chloe's a girl, so I had no idea. I've known Chloe for years. Over on Heresy and everything else, and she worked here. I had no clue that she was gay, but not that matters. It's just, it was kind of one of those things like, oh, she's engaged. Oh, she's gay. Oh, she's engaged. That's so awesome. So totally happy for her. And like I said, they make an absolutely awesome couple. I have no idea who asked who. I'm not going to assume. All it is, hey, we got engaged. And I haven't. Yeah, basically. It was like, got engaged to Rain, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's awesome. I have no idea who asked who, but congratulations, LTP. We miss you over here at Models Workshop, but it's nice to see that you're doing big things in your career and your personal life as well, and it's totally awesome. So, massive congratulations from all of us to you. So, I've been meaning to post it on the website, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and wait for the podcast. But she's like old school Models Workshop. She was like one of the, not a founding member, but one of the old members of Models Workshop who came over. Some of our best early tutorials were all done by her. She has a couple that are still really popular to this day. But yeah, that was totally awesome. Oh no, speaking, because your Dianet made it onto the Forge World website, didn't it? Mm-hmm. So I just got I had a notification a couple days ago of a model that I posted and tagged for the Forge World months ago, like when it first came out. Mm-hmm. That they were doing this. I went and I posted it and I tagged it, and it's like one of the few models that I'm like done on. And I forgot about it. I just got notification this week that it's getting posted up. Yeah, I was like, oh, yay. And it was like all Lego liking my stuff, Dremel contacting me back on my stuff, and the Forge World saying, hey, we're posting your model, and all of that stuff all happened pretty much like on the same day within like an hour of each other. I was just like, yay. And it was great because last week was absolutely horrible. We got stuck in, what was the name of that damn storm? The one that hit the Northeast. It started with an S, not Steven, but whatever it is, it might have been Steven. Hell, I don't know. It was horrible. Oh my God. They closed all the interstates in New York. Luckily, we weren't in New York, but we had to reroute. We were 5 hours late for our stop. Then they closed Maine. And we ended up having to backtrack, go down Interstate 89, run all the way across Pennsylvania, which sucked because they were getting snow as well. And Pennsylvania is horrible at maintaining the roads, like just absolutely horrible. And so we ended up having to go across there. We couldn't go into New York at all, so we had to bypass our normal route and run through Connecticut, which was also god awful, and ran into the southern side of Massachusetts. And all in all, it was horrible. That entire week got screwed up because of that massive storm. But it ended up dropping 32 inches of snow in New York. It ended up dropping 22 inches of snow in Massachusetts and like 20 something inches in Maine too. Jesus. And they said in Maine, they said that they had like 70-mile-an-hour winds on top of all of the snow. I'm just like, good Lord, that's enough. There was some other business stuff that happened at the beginning of the week that really kind of started the week off on a bad note. And then that winter storm hit, and it was just like, it was one of those weeks where none of it was really, really god awful bad. You know, it wasn't like, oh my God, the world is ending. It wasn't anything like that. But it was just enough that continuously happened that I just wanted to scream. And I did on a few occasions. So it was it was so frustrating. So I was glad that week ended. Then the next week's like all the good stuff happened. It's like, hey, Lego likes your post. And a lot of people don't. Okay, yeah, they have a person that goes through and all they do is like stuff that Lego's mentioned in. I get that. But it's nice for the ego to see little stuff like that, like a big company liking something that you posted. Just like Kevin Smith, when he likes stuff that I post, that makes my fucking day. Actually makes my week. And he has on several occasions. I mean, that's really, really cool. Or like when Adam Savage replied to me one time. That dude's got like 3 million followers, and he actually replied to something I said. And from my understanding, it's him. He runs his own Twitter account. So it's kind of like, yay. And it was a very mundane thing that he said, but still, it made my week. But yeah, it's been crazy. This month alone, we've been gaining a lot of new listeners. We've been getting a lot more downloads than we typically do. A lot. So if you're new to the podcast, thank you. You can find us over at Facebook at facebook.com/The Models Workshop. Come say hey. Or you can find our discussion group, which is Models Workshop Miniature Discussion. Just search it up and you'll be able to find it. Come say hello. If Facebook's not your thing, come say hi on Twitter, and it's twitter.com/NWH podcast. And no, guys, I'm not ending the podcast right now. Just giving you some contact. But yeah, I showed Yeji the stats that we've been having this month, and it's, for people that don't know, like when we first started, we were like, hey, if we get 10 people to listen to us, we're going to be happy. And that's basically what happened the first month or so. It was like 10, 15, 20 people. And then it grew. And what happens is, this is what I theorize, is that people go out and they'll tell people like, hey, you need to listen to this podcast. Hey, you need to listen to this podcast. Or they find out about us, or they see that there's a podcast. Because there's a lot of modeling people out there that just don't know we exist. And so someone will be like, hey, there's a painting podcast. You should go listen to it. And so word of mouth starts happening. And you'll see like little incremental increases. Like we'll go from X number, and then it'll be like X number plus 5, and X number plus 6, and X number. But then every so often, you'll notice a massive implosion where you'll get like 20 or 30 or 40 new listeners at the same time. One happened right after LVO, when Yeji was over there hyping the show. Another one happened when someone passed out our information at a show, or at a store, I think it was, and we got a nice little boost. But we're going through probably the biggest boost that I've ever seen. Like, you can usually figure out roughly how many new people you have listening by looking at your old episodes and seeing how many downloads they have. So if you have like 20 people downloading all your old episodes, that means you probably gained about 20 new listeners. So for people who are doing a podcast, it's one way to track that's a metric you can track by looking at your older episodes. And this one has just been like crazy. Since Christmas to now, we have gained 75% listenership. So we have went up 75% in our listenership, and we're over 23,000 total downloads now. So yeah, it's
Thank you
going
guys
well.
for continuing to fuel our craziness.
Exactly. I honestly, the main reason I kind of wanted to go to Adepticon is just go there and talk, which I do a lot anyways, and see if anyone would recognize me from just talking.
They did it for my laugh, so maybe.
Yeah, and I've been told that if I ever show up to a convention, people will know who I am just because I have a very distinctive voice, and that a lot of people have listened to me yap for hours upon hours upon hours, and they know my voice really well. Like, I've had a couple people, need advice that was just not typable. It was it's like, give me your damn phone number. So I called them, and they're like, oh my God, it really is you. And I'm like, did you think I had a stage voice or something? Yeah, it's me. This is how I sound.
Some people do. I mean, I kind of have one. Well, not so much on the podcast, but like when you actually hear me over the phone, I have a different phone voice.
See, I talk pretty much the same everywhere, so I really don't. Like, what you're hearing here is my voice. This is how I talk. I may pronunciate a little bit more, and I may be a little more forceful on some of the words I say, but ultimately, this is me. If you hear me talking...
This is how I talk.
Yeah, and that's exactly how Clint talks, too. So if you ever hear... Clint out and about, it's going to be that right there. It's none of us mask our voices. We don't do any type of... I do a slight boost based on my voice sometimes. Half the time I forget to do it. So, and that's just basically to give it a little bit of a warmer tone. But it's still, this is how I sound. So yeah, I kind of wanted to go to Adepticon and just walk around and talk just to see how many people would actually freaking recognize me. And then I'd be heartbroken because nobody. I mean, I was sitting there like, hi, hey everyone, how's it going? Hey, I'm going to go. Right. So, oh my goodness. So someone suggested a topic for the podcast, and it's kind of up in the air if we're actually going to do it, because it could seriously okay, so a friend of ours, Lynn, who we really need to get back on the podcast. It's basically her new
on the podcast for that topic,
right? And I told her that I wanted her on the podcast for this topic. But basically what happened, the Lynn situation, it's not like we're feuding. Trust me, I talked to her. The only person I talked to more than Lynn is Yeji and my wife. And then Lynn's pretty much right there. So we talk all the time. It's just she's honestly been working a lot on Fridays here recently. So, and of course, this time she's over at Adepticon. So, of course, she doesn't have any time for us salty little Adepticants. And basically, she brought up, she's like, you guys should do an episode on egos in the painting industry, which is a great topic. It really is. But on the same token, this could go so wrong. Because it could honestly, it's one of those deals where we have to be really careful if we do this show. Because in the situation that we are, not to toot our horns, but we see a lot. We deal with a lot of people. We read a lot of forums. We know who the egotistical people who really shouldn't be egotistical are. So it's either we have to do the episode and call everybody out, or do the episode and be very careful not to call anybody out. And honestly, I'm kind of cool.
Which is going to be hard on a certain someone in this podcast.
Yes, Yeji, you shouldn't be so forceful and forthright, and be mean to people all the time.
I know.
Yeah. Self-censoring. Yeah. not a strong suit of mine. So, yeah. So we're probably going to do the topic, but we're somewhat. It might be the most heavily edited episode ever, or there might be a lot of beeps inserted. Yeah, that's stupid. Beep, 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 beep. It's going to sound like a fucking censored Eminem song. Got me thinking about this, got me so flustered. I just tried to put my brush soap lid on my freaking water container. Speaking of brush soap, that is our tool of the trade. And that was a good segue because I actually just finished up with my brush, so I was using it. Brush soap. What is brush soap? It's soap for your brush. Think of it as like shampoo for your brush.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It is kind of obvious. It's basically shampoo for your brush. And one of the versions of brush soap is effectively just fucking shampoo. Well, the reason you want to use brush soap is it helps get a lot of the paint that's trapped in your brush out of your brush. Also, it helps keep the natural oils on natural paintbrushes there and helps keep them conditioned. That's where brush soap and conditioner comes along. It helps keep them soft. It helps keep them clean. It keeps them flowing to a point like they should. And honestly, if you're going to spend the money on brushes, it is the best purchase that you can make. And you're probably going to be like, Larry, Yeji, what do you guys recommend then? I've used a lot of brush soaps. And honestly, the one I always use, partially because it's available everywhere. It's called, and I believe Yeji, you use the same stuff too, don't you?
Yeah.
I think everybody does in Models Workshop. Actually, almost every painter I ever ask what brush soap they use, they tell me this one. And it's no joke. I've actually went out and I've asked people, what brush soap do you use? Every now and then you do get a pink soap, which is one I'll talk about. But almost every person comes back and says the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. I shit you not, 5 containers of this stuff laying around my studio because I'll misplace one, or I need a small one for a travel kit. Or
honestly, you really only need one if you know where it's at, because we've had ours for the past since we've been painting, and it's not even halfway gone yet.
Right. Well, and a small one for a travel kit's not bad either.
Yeah.
Partially the reason I have so many laying around is I found a couple of them that were mispriced. Like, if you ever pay attention to Hobby Lobby, even if you already own something, pay attention to the price, because Hobby Lobby is notorious for mispricing their stuff. Like at K&S Brass Rod, I found like 4 blisters of brass rod that were mispriced at 99 cents instead of the $2.99 that they're supposed to be. And I'm going to take advantage of that. I should probably go up and be like, you've mispriced this. No. I spend enough money at that place, and I buy their incredibly overpriced stuff for my wife all the time. I buy stuff that's like $40 that I know they probably bought for $5. If I find brass rod mismarked, I'm buying it.
Well, and honestly, like I shouldn't be supporting Hobby Lobby because of some of the things they stand for, but like sometimes our Michaels doesn't have everything that I want.
Most of the time, Michaels doesn't have everything that you want. Michaels actually has a really horrible painting/craft section. Now, some things they have better, but a lot of the stuff they don't. And this is probably one of my most hypocritical things that I support, because I will not go and eat at Chick-fil-A because of their stance on certain things. But the sad thing is that I believe it's the Green family from Hobby Lobby has almost those exact same stance, and I still go to Hobby Lobby. I actually know Hobby Lobby better than most Hobby Lobby employees. Yeah. I can actually close my eyes right now and tell you roughly where almost everything is in that store, if it's a quote-unquote traditional layout store. Every once in a while, you'll find a Hobby Lobby that moved into a building that wasn't built for it, or was built in a very odd shape, and it'll be rearranged in an odd sort of fashion. Those throw me for a loop. But yeah, and it's true. It really is. But it's either I buy from Hobby Lobby or I have to wait for Amazon to ship it. And if I'm getting dragged in that store with my wife, I'm going to pick something up. Now, do they have everything? No, but they got a 40% off coupon. And I will literally go in there and buy one item with that 40% off coupon.
Yep.
And I will only buy that one item and I will walk out. That's where most of my inks came from. One bottle at a time.
That's what I'll do. And then, like, since Clint and I usually go in together, I usually tell Clint to go stand on the other line and use the other 40% off coupon.
Oh, I don't even hide it. I don't. Like, my wife and I will pay for both items with my card. And I'll be like, hey, we're going to split this up. She's going to pay for this. There's her coupon. And then I'll swipe my card and pay for it. And then I'll be like, all right, ring this up. Here's my coupon. And they'll do it. They'll ring it up and I'll swipe my card. I have never had anyone say anything. Fuck that, split it up. I'll sit there and I'll go through, okay, what's the 2 most expensive items in our cart? Because what are they going to do? Tell you no? It's 2 separate phones, it's 2 separate people, and it's 2 separate items.
Well, I grew up Asian, so like we used to do that.
You're sneaky? You're sneaky? Well, technically, you're only supposed to use a coupon once a week. And I've walked in, bought something, walked out, dropped it off in my car, turned around, walked back in, bought something, turned around, went back to my car. But, yeah, so... But yeah, like Hobby Lobby, it mispriced like 2 big packages or 2 packages of the large brush soap. So I was like, okay, sure. I think it was supposed to be $10. I believe it was $9.99. They had it marked down at $5.99, and then I 40% off coupon to the $5.99. So I ended up getting a large container of brush soap for $4, $3, something like that. $3.50. I can't pass that up. Yeah, I have enough brush soap to last me, especially since I airbrush almost everything. But back on topic, away from Hobby Lobby and their practices. Yeah, Masters Brush Cleaner Preserver. Now, there's some other good brush cleaners out there. You have Winsor & Newton Brush Cleaner and Restorer, but that's not a cleaner that you want to use every time. If you like once a month or once every couple months, depending on how often you use your brushes. If you want to do a nice, or once a week, if you're like super, super hardcore in your brushes, you want to do a nice heavy, deep clean to your brushes. This is the stuff that you use because it actually causes the binder for acrylic to melt. It will actually dissolve the binder in acrylic paint and it'll help pull all the paint that actually made it into the ferrule, because even if you do use Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver religiously, some paint's going to get up in there, and the Winsor & Newton stuff will actually help pull it out. Now, you have to be incredibly careful. Do not get it on the handle, because it will dissolve the binder, even in lacquer. This type of... I have a Winsor & Newton brush that has my fingerprint melted into it because I had a little bit left on my finger and I didn't realize it, and I went to paint and I pulled my finger up and it felt weird, and I looked down and it had melted my fingerprint into my paintbrush. It's actually kind of cool because no one can steal that brush now. It's literally has my fingerprint melted into the damn handle. But yeah, so you have to be very, 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 very careful with that stuff. Now, the other stuff that you have going out there, now if you don't have brush cleaner specifically, you can use stuff like Dawn. Take a little bit of Dawn, a little bit of water, switch it in real good, rub it through, and it'll help pull all the paint out. That's another good one. And then you can like go and take... or
you can take little shampoo and do it.
A little bit of shampoo, and then at the end you can put a little bit of conditioner on it. It's natural hair, folks. Take a little bit of conditioner. I'd watch out. Try to use the very bland stuff. You don't want to put like tropical rainforest on your brush. One, it probably tastes nasty. Two, but there's another type that if you want to use actual brush cleaner, but you don't like the soap because you're for some reason think that okay. So what happens with Masters Brush Cleaner is it's almost like pumice soap. It has like little, if you ever take it and rub your hand on it, it has like a grainy texture to it. And it's the grains that actually, as the soap is going through and sudsing, the little grains go between the hairs and is what pulls the paint out. And there are some people who swear that it's going to damage their brush. Even though I can tell you,
after a long while it does.
Yes, but at that point, the brush is probably going to be toast from painting. Yep. I have used Masters Brush Cleaner, and I clean my brush in between paints. Like, as I'm painting a model with a brush, I'll use Masters Brush Cleaner to clean it and then continue painting. I don't wait to the end of the session. I do it in between. And I've used the same brush for years. Now, I don't use paintbrushes much, so some people are like, you've had brushes that last for years? Keep in mind that I don't brush paint very often. So... Yes, I have. And I've used Master's Brush Cleaner religiously with it. It's still at a needlepoint sharp or tip. You're going to wear your brush out from using it painting before the Master's Brush Cleaner is going to destroy the brush. Unless you're just like really stupid about it and swirl around the brush like fucking 5 minutes while you're cleaning it, just going, hey, look, let me sand these bristles down. But there's a Mona Lisa pink brush soap, and I'm sure you've seen it if you've ever been to a Hobby Lobby or if you've ever been onto a site for brush cleaner. It's a picture of Mona Lisa. It's in a brown bottle. The shit's bright pink. It's hard to miss, and it's a brush cleaner. And it's a liquid. You just rub it in kind of like you do shampoo. You rinse it out, and they also have another product that is like with the Master's Brush Cleaner, you swirl it around, you leave a little bit of soap, the conditioner soap in it, and you reform the tip, and it dries and it keeps the tip together. With the Mona Lisa, they have a second product that is almost like a really super weak glue, but not quite a glue, that you put on your brush, and it's brush shaper, and it forces the brush together. So that's another product that they have. I've used it. I don't like it. I don't think it does near as good a job at cleaning the brush as Masters does. And a lot of people tend to agree. It's not very widely used. At least for us. I'm sure people who don't need their brushes at a needle tip will probably use the pink soap a little bit more. But yeah, we were supposed to talk for like 3 minutes on the tool of the trade, and I turned it into a fucking commercial. I'm bad about that, you know? Getting onto a tangent and just talking about it. It's like, well, Larry's very passionate about his brush soap. Apparently, yes, I am.
It doesn't taste like that either.
Right. So have you got any new Kickstarters that you get your eyeballs on?
Don't even.
What? What are you looking at?
Well, there's a couple of other like non-miniature related ones that I'm looking at.
What? Non-miniature related?
Yeah.
Hold up. You do non-miniature stuff? What the fuck? Where's the Yeji I know?
I do plushies.
Oh, that's true.
Plushies on Kickstarter because it's cheaper that way. And this girl makes the cutest plushies ever either because she does a lot of like puns, and I love puns. She does like punny buns, and it's like little bunnies, like a hamburger bun, and it's like a little hamburger with like bunny ears and eyes and stuff. And she just finished one, and she just released another one that she's gonna do with a kid tea, where it's a little cat teapot, and it's super cute, super cute.
So basically, it's the cute version of Garbage Pail Kids.
Kind of.
Because they had those weird, funky ass.
But it's not like little people. It's like actual bunnies or cats.
Well, right. I get that. People and their puns.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is really funny that JT hates puns. And people post stuff to his page all the time. Oh, okay, now so I have to do that to both you and JT.
I hate puns, and Joe absolutely fucking loves puns. Like, horribly bad, and he likes some god-awful ones, too.
I'm trying to see if I have any other Kickstarters that are ongoing right now.
He did a pun a couple weeks ago, or no, it was last week, and it's about this guy who is in North Korea, and Kim goes, "Hey, make me
the composer one."
And it's like 40 pictures long, and I'm like, "Oh!" So I'm scrolling through reading this, and at the very end, it's like, "Oh no, it's just because I'm a bad conductor." I replied. My response back was like, "I fucking hate you."
I read that one on JT's wall.
He knows, and the thing is, Joe knows that I hate puns, so he'll go out of his way to find puns that don't sound like puns until the very end and hits me with them all the time. And I'm just sitting there, I was like, I fucking hate you. Seriously.
Oh boy. No, there's that World of John Baptiste.
Yeah.
Kickstarter, and that one has the fucking ferret with the gnomes riding the ferret.
Oh, yes. And that one, there's several models in that one, and some, they're quite neat. I like them. They're very different and very unique. And yeah, and then the ferret one, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then I saw the price, and I was like, that's not cool.
Yeah, it's like €75. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah. The one I was actually looking at and I thought was kind of cool and someone was like, hey, look at this, was the Iron Crows of Casca, Israel, and other dwarf miniatures. Because we need 20 words in a title. No, but in all honesty, it's sitting at 23,000 of its goal of 9,600. Still got 30 days to go, so it's a long running one. It's by Durgan's Paint Forge. He's created a couple of them now, but it's 28 millimeter dwarf miniatures. And as you go through and you go and look, and it's the different miniatures that are in it, it's a lot of them are typical dwarfs, but at the same time, there's several dwarfs that are not.
Did you see the
typical
freaking ones that are on riders on that one? The little goat and the little boar one?
Probably. I probably did. The thing that caught my attention though, one, they're just really they are traditional dwarfs. I mean, there's nothing special about it. They're not anything odd, which I think is actually really good. I think that having traditional dwarfs is a good thing. I think a lot of people try to do unique stuff, but on the same token, you don't need to. Some people want freaking 25 millimeter or 32 millimeter dwarfs to play with other 32 millimeter dwarfs. But like, I like the rogue / assassin. I thought he was really cool, but they're all very character filled and everything. But the one thing that sold me, that really got my attention, was the bulldog.
Yes. I want the bulldog and the little riders. Like in that same little thing, you can see there's a couple of rider people, and I want those. And I'm like, no more Kickstarters.
I'm scrolling down now, trying to. Oh, okay. Oh, that bundle.
And I was talking to Adepticon this Wednesday, and he's like, what is it now? Like, Munch Your Money, March or something.
What is it?
It pretty much is.
What's that real big name of ramen that starts with an M?
Maruchan?
Yeah, Marchum Ramen March.
Yep.
Because that's all you're asking for is a 12-cent bag of ramen. Yeah, it's like Fuck Your Money February switched over to March this year. There's been a lot of really, really big Kickstarters and really nice Kickstarters coming out and ending in March, and it's like, good Lord. At least the dwarf one's ending in April. The riders are cool. I definitely like the healer, the female dwarf on a goat. That one is kind of neat.
I want that one.
Then the hunting bulldogs, those are cool. I like the brewmaster, the beermaster or brewmaster. That one's really cool. I like that one. And then of course the raider, which is like an assassin.
Which, did you ever figure out if that was going to you or not? Because I just got the Terra Kickstarter from Infamy Miniatures in, and I cannot for the life of me remember if the Hannah bust, the girl with the cigar, was supposed to be for you or for me.
I can't honestly remember. I would say, just because I'm much bigger into busts than you are, that it was probably mine. But ultimately, I honestly can't remember. The only thing that would make me say that it's mine is the fact that I'm a lot more into busts than you are.
Well, and I'm like, we've talked so much since then, because that's like a year ago, that I don't want to go through all our fucking chats.
I had forgotten. Oh God, yeah. There's no fucking way. Yeah, because the thing that leads me... Okay, so what leads me to say yes is because I'm really big into buffs and you're not. But the thing is I kind of look at some of the other models and I'm like, but honestly, if I had the money for the bust, I think I would have went after this other model instead, but I'm not entirely sure because the Terra does actually look kind of cool. But on the same, it's one of those, like, it's a circular thing of, yes, I think it's mine because you don't do busts, I do. But if I'd have bought the bust, I think I would have bought the other thing. But I think it's mine. But I honestly, I think it is mine. I think that it was something that I got because I honestly think that maybe the reasoning behind why I didn't get the other one is because I wanted all of the other one and I couldn't afford all of the other ones. So I went with the one item that was completely unique in and of itself. Or the one item that's really kind of a limited edition that that was the chance that I had to get it versus the other stuff that was going to be available through retail sale. Because I think the Terra bust is actually a limited edition. I don't know. Send it my way. It'll get painted. I can't paint miniatures for shit right now, but I can sure paint my busts. And you're sitting there going, but I wanted to keep it.
Hold on. I think I might have just found it.
She is literally going through a year's worth of fucking chats. Holy shit.
This was August of 2016.
Now we know why she's been quiet recent in the last couple minutes. Do 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 do. Okay, so the silence will be removed for you guys because you're lucky about that, but I have endured a ton of silence waiting for her to come up with this answer. I run a filter that removes all the silence, so it's going to be like, hey, jackass, it was only like 15 seconds. No, it wasn't.
I don't know. Because you're like, if the steampunk wasn't 32 pounds, I'd order one that's sexy, one-shot or action pose. And then it goes to... something about hosting because you have a cough.
Oh, I remember that. I was sick. And it was right before we were recording. And I was like, hey, can you host the podcast? AKA, can you be the person that actually fucking talks? Because I'm coughing up my lungs. And you're like,
and then
yeah.
There was no confirmation afterwards.
It also could have been like, hey, just get me something because I'm never going to be able to decide it. And you pick that. Which also sounds very reasonable. Because it was down to like me going, God, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that. And I think I might have just been like, you know what? You fucking pick. Because if you don't, I'm never going to be able to decide on anything. Oh my God, this neck mold line is killing me. Yeah, so I did an hour-long video removing this neck mold line and it's still there. It's just in a very awkward spot. That's the one downside to how detailed he is with his busts, is that like when he puts the mold line in, he's really good about not putting them in like super bad spots. But even where he puts them in, it does usually go through a very detailed spot. Like the neck has a whole bunch of wrinkles, and I'm trying to keep those little wrinkles intact because it's part of the model. I don't want a random flat spot. And even if I could just get rid of it where it wasn't so fucking obvious that it's a mold line, but it's like obviously like big boo freaking mold line.
Yeah, I can't remember, but that's probably what happened because you're like, I just did the math. The Forge World Order would eat all my cash and I have to decide on that and these large robots from Tau. And I said something about needing a payment plan. And then it went on to vocals for Joe being on the podcast. Oh, boy.
I can't believe you actually went back and read all of it.
I had to.
Was that the Asian in you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I can do one 54mm or both 32mm. I want a Hannah bust too. F you. That's what want is both 54mm Terra and the Hannah. But money, F you. Okay, and then we never agreed.
At this point, I don't even know anymore.
Okay, Tara's probably going to go to you then.
Okay.
Or, I mean, Hannah, not Tara. Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a long while ago, man.
Yeah, we should probably make notes from now on about if I tack stuff onto your orders. Which one is mine?
Yeah, exactly. No, I did. I did have it somewhere. But, no, that was for the brush, or for the holders, the model holders.
Right. I do remember that one. Because it was really weird.
I thought I put it somewhere. But...
It was really weird because you contacted me after it ended and you're like, hold up, did you pledge too? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, why? I was like, because we have a really odd number. And I figured if I pledged mine too, we could break it down a little more even. Oh, okay. Just making sure you still wanted them. Yeah. I have so many freaking miniature holders.
I swear I put it somewhere like either on my phone or whatever. We actually sold two of the other holders.
Why?
Because we found ourselves only using the one.
Oh. You don't have the tendency of switching to 500 different models like I do?
Well, and even if I do the different base sizes, so like one of them's bigger, or I don't want him on a base, so I have to put him in a little pin thingy.
Right.
So I just
fair enough. I'm a fucking modeling pack rat, so that's my excuse. I've got so much stuff just laying around. I was talking to Mike about it over at Epic Duck, about how I just buy stuff. I found something not too long ago that I'd forgotten that I'd bought. I was like, oh, okay. I'd forgotten I'd bought this. And it was just, there you go. Here you go.
I swore I put notes somewhere. I just can't remember where. Oh, well.
Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, wah.
Now it's going to bug you.
It is. It is going to totally bug you. Now I have to, like, actually go find the note.
She's going to stay up all fucking night. And then I will get bitched at for her staying up all night.
Mm-hmm. Clint will bitch at you.
She's in a bitchy mood now. Throw fucking Snickers at her.
Snickers don't work for me.
Oh, she has resistant Snickers. And go toss a fucking...
Sushi works all the time.
Go toss some sushi at her then.
I'm expensive, yeah.
Drilling a hole. Yeah, speaking of sushi, you sent me that damn link to that one itty bitty little girl eating enough to make me want to gag. She ate the first thing and I was like, wow, that's a lot of fucking rice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she ate the first thing and I was like, wow, that's a lot of fucking rice. And then he's like, I got something bigger. I was like expecting him to come back like another day. But no, he goes and makes it and brings it out and it's like twice as large as this huge fucking challenge food thing that she just ate. And she eats like 2/3 of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what the hell? So
I'm fucking fascinated with people like that. Like, they're called ogwis, which literally means huge eaters. And it's a thing in Japan. And I don't know. They eat like 3 to 4 kilograms of food every single meal.
No, that chick ate more than 3 or 4 kilograms. She had to have eaten like 9 kilograms
on an
of
average
food.
Regular day. Like, she has a YouTube channel where she goes and eats. And her average food is like anywhere from 3 to 5 kilograms.
How does she afford this? I understand y'all eat a lot of fucking rice, but goddamn.
She affords it by being a YouTube star, for one.
Well, yeah, I guess. Fuck. And yeah, she has that cute thing going for her too, but I'm sitting there watching her eat and I'm like, holy fuck. Mm-hmm. And I've done some competition food stuff before, and
her stomach expands 60 times the size of a normal human's. That's how she puts so much food down.
I understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. What I'm not able to comprehend is how that much food should fucking kill you. Like, well, quite literally.
They did a whole freaking CT scan of her, like, after she eats. And it literally pushes her lungs and her heart out of the way so her stomach can expand the whole torso.
What the fuck? I paint little miniatures for a living and I'm sitting there questioning this woman's life choices. In all seriousness, what the fuck? Oi, that's just crazy. That should kill you. That much food should literally kill you. Yeah, I'm sitting there, I was watching her do this and I was like, is this a trick? And she's like, nope, that's her eating. And I'm like, oh my God, no, she has to be single. She has to be.
She is. She wants to find a guy that eats as much as her, and she hasn't been able to find one.
Yes, no shit. I wonder why. Because, most people aren't insane. It's just fucking ridiculous.
And you know what she says? Like, she's like, when I used to do the competitions, because she used to do competitions, that she used to go until she was like 99% full, and now she only goes to about maybe 70-80% full.
What?
Yeah. So like her eating the 3 to 5 kilograms of food like is her at like 70 to 80%.
Is she skinny? How?
Because it's living in Japan. Walk around everywhere. It's not like freaking America.
I guess. I'm drilling a hole in the bottom of my bust.
But yeah, I am totally fascinated by how much she eats. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I find Epic Mealtime disgusting, but I find her fascinating.
I don't think I've ever seen Epic Mealtime. What's that show about?
They make a whole bunch of like junk food shit and they eat it.
Really?
Yeah. Like they'll make like a fast food lasagna with like a bunch of burgers from McDonald's, from Burger King and stuff, and they stack them all up and they put weaves of bacon in and drizzle it with Thousand Island sauce and they just eat it. And I'm like, whoa.
How is it, of all the random size brass rod that I have, out of the literal 100+ feet of brass and aluminum rod that I have laying around, I don't have any 1/16 inch? This confuses me. Because the smallest drill bit that I had laying around was a 1/16, so I drilled it in the bottom of my model.
Okay, I think I have all of Nandy's models done.
He will be pleased.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's not the right size. Either the brass rod I have is much smaller than a 1/16 or much bigger than a 1/16.
Should have asked for a 1/16.
Well, I should have 1/16. That's the crazy thing. I have all the sizes around 1/16, but I don't have 1/16. And I just got done ordering
1/16.
No, I mean, I should still have some laying around. Maybe they're no longer carded? And not a super huge deal. I mean, I have plenty of the, what size? 3/64, which is just a smidge under 1/16. And it's deep enough in the model where it's not going to move. It's more along the lines of, I should have this. I know I probably have it somewhere. I just can't find it. It's bugging me. Oh yeah, because you're the one to talk, Yeji. You just literally went through fucking 8 months of chat history to find out who a bus belongs to. When we're all pretty sure that it's supposed to be mine. And why is that? Because you don't paint bus.
Oh boy. Well, I do now.
Well, you didn't back then.
I didn't then, but I do now.
There's a lot of stuff you do now that you don't do back then. But yeah, the dwarf Kickstarter that we kind of stopped talking about, it actually looks really neat. Definitely, I'd go check it out.
If someone, just wants to get the writers and like donate them to me, I would be most happy.
She definitely would be. She love you long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, even if it's not a donation and you want to get them commissioned by me, like I'll be happy with that too.
She just wants to paint them.
Yes. I don't have to have them forever. I just want to paint them.
So the Warhound Titan is definitely looking like it's a go. Seeing that he sent me the down payment, I was like, oh, I guess... Because it's one of those things where I don't believe something is happening until the down payment happens. Mm-hmm. And he sent me the down payment.
Cool.
Yeah, that's why I made a $70 magnet order.
I assume.
Yeah, because he wants certain things. Like, he wants it to be magnetized, of course, thus the huge magnet order. But he wants stuff to be magnetized that isn't going to be easy to magnetize, if you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like, he wants the arms to be magnetized. Those arms are big and they're heavy. So I have to, like, I'm actually pseudo worried that when my magnet order comes in, I'm not going to be able to remove it from my mailbox. Because they are, my mailbox is metal. God damn it. My mailbox is metal, and like I ordered some 30 and 40 pound test magnets because they need to be strong enough to hold up a Titan's arm. So we'll see. I may have to take the Dremel outside and cut my mailbox.
That would actually be pretty hilarious.
I would film it.
I can see Kara just yelling at you from the side. Why the fuck are you cutting our mailbox? Why would you decide to get a magnet order that big?
Well, it's not one magnet that big. It's 6 magnets that big.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, why'd you get a magnet order that big?
Well, she probably won't know what the fuck's going on. She'll be like, why the fuck is there a box stuck to our mailbox? Magnets. And she's going to be like, why did you order magnets that strong?
Yeah. So we can string up the kitties.
Yeah, I have to watch and make sure Yeji doesn't come and fucking kidnap. I want that cat. You can't have that cat. But I want that cat. You can't have that cat. I want that cat. You can't have that cat.
It's a never-ending cycle.
I had to pull the wife in on that one. Tell her she is not getting my cat.
She's like, nope, that's mine.
She sure did.
Yeah, I was confused when you said it was MJ. I'm like, what?
Yeah, our cat, Middle. The kitten looks just like him. Middle? Yeah. He looks just like him.
Then who's the mama?
We don't know.
Is that why they abandoned them? Like, she abandoned them in your brush?
We speculated.
Like, here's your damn cats.
Yeah, it was a huge, huge thing. And MJ is actually very large, too, comparative to even his sisters. Her sisters. MJ is a girl. Found that out today. She's got girly bits. Thus making her a girl.
Well, girly bits doesn't mean that you're a girl.
She hasn't identified with us yet. She hasn't told me if she's identified herself as a rat or not.
Or as an attack helicopter.
Oh, man. It got to the point I actually had to message our mutual friend, Kelly, because I was kind of worried about her.
Which one? Freeborg or Row?
Row.
Oh. She was freaking out last night.
She what?
Because she was freaking out last night because her across the street there was a power box on a main power line that freaking just burst into sparks and stuff.
Yeah, it had a short in it. It blew up.
Yeah. Well, and there was apparently rain and hail before it turned into snow, so it probably damaged it that way.
Yeah, try being in the back of a truck when the semi hits the thing and having it explode right over your head and get covered with all the oil that's inside it. Awesome. Been there, done that. Still got the scar on my shoulder from that one. Oh, man. So how's the head feeling? Any better?
It's okay right now.
Yeah, that's what you get. Talk to Larry more.
But we'll see in a little bit because it might be the way I'm leaning over and painting too.
I was actually worried that you were going to be like, I can't do the podcast tonight. I was like, oh, fuck. Because that means it's like, because everyone else is at Adepticon. Every person that I would ask, hey, can you host with me, is at fucking Adepticon.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
at work. Clint is at work.
Right. Everybody else is just like not around. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. If she says, I can't come on, I'm going to be like, me, podcast, alone. And nobody likes that shit. Actually, yeah, it sucked. Yeah, I know I speak 90.
That was like the most informative podcast so far.
Yeah, because I had no one to make fucking raunchy jokes with. They may have liked it. It was quite boring for me.
That's what she said?
That's what they said.
Oh, boy.
Alright, in the hole. Get in the hole.
I was going to do this as metallic gold, and then I realized that I had done the spear already non-metallic, and mixing two non-metallic and true metallic doesn't really work.
No, it doesn't.
So it's non-metallic. That was actually quite quick too.
I did get my paint rack up. That's a nice little added bonus. So I got my war colors up on the wall down here. That was a pain in the ass.
Good job.
Oh, it was really a pain in the ass. I did not have the proper drill bits to be doing that.
Good job.
So yeah, I think I'm going to end up ordering me a mason drill, a mason drill bit. All right. So do you have anything else for our lovely listeners, Yeji?
I don't think so.
Before we get too salty and our tears ruin their day.
Gosh. I am so sad. I really am. I was even going to go just beg someone to sleep on their floor. And if the tickets to go were like 200, 200, 250, I was going to go. But it was like 400, 450. And I was like, damn it. No, I can't.
Just drive.
Yeah, with the one car that we have so that Clint can't go to work.
He can Uber.
Oh, and then drive over there by myself? Like, no, that's not fun.
I'm sure you could have found someone to pick up. Pick up Kelly.
She's been sick too, though. But it's too late now. It's too late, baby. It's too late.
Waiting for the glue to dry in this model. But all right, folks, thank you for listening to Models Workshop After Hours. Hopefully we weren't too dirty for your virgin ears. Hopefully you found us informative. If you have any emails or questions you'd like to ask us, you can hit us up over at modelsworkshoppodcast@gmail.com or send us a message over at facebook.com/The Models Workshop. Yeji, myself, Clint, and a few other people can access that, but 90% of the time it's going to be Yeji and I who actually respond. So you can hit us up over there. You can hit us up over at twitter.com/NWH podcast, where that's me hitting up on the tweets. You can find Yeji at Snickernack Studios over on the tweets. Also, you can find us on Instagram under the same names because we're not creative in the least. And, it's just easier to find us that way. You can also find us on our home on the web, and that's www.models-workshop.com. If you're listening to this streaming and you want to know how to subscribe to us, head over to models-workshop.com/podcast, and you can find where we're at on all of the awesome places like iHeart, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, podcatchers. Yeah, just pretty much everywhere. Because, of course, I'm the king with the golden butt plug, and I plug us everywhere. Also, a shout out to our Patreons that we talked about earlier. If you want to be a patron of Models Workshop, head over to patreon.com/Models Workshop. And we've got some stuff coming up. I've got a couple ideas. A friend of mine actually started making custom wood burn boxes, and they look good. Like, they really look good. She has a talent for wood burning boxes. And thinking about talking to her about having X number made. But anyways, so you might see some really cool custom burn Models Workshop dice boxes popping up, and we might be doing some giveaways on that. I also have a giveaway coming up. We're trying to decide what we're going to do it with, but it's the starter set for the war colors. I believe it's 14 or 12 bottles of paint, and it's their most popular 3, which is their midtones: red 3, blue 3, left knee, right knee. I don't know, but I ordered an extra one of those on my last order, so I'm going to come up with something creative and give it away to someone. So,
we have a new video setup, so look forward to quick and dirty tutorials and stuff from us too.
Tutorial, sure. And also pay attention if you want to go over to youtube.com/Gin24DJINN24. I've had the account forever. I can't get it switched. But if you Google or if you search Models Workshop on YouTube, it pops up. Subscribe over there, and that's where I do most of my live streaming. Actually, as of right now, all of my live streaming. And I will try to let people know before I live stream, unlike the last couple times where I'm just like, hey, I'm live streaming, and I didn't tell anyone. I get like 2 people. So I'll try to let people know that I'm live streaming. And you can pop up and you can ask questions, and I'm interactive. So while I'm doing stuff, if you ask a question, I might just reach over and show you how to do it. But thank you guys. You're the reason that we do this, and we love all of y'all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of Models Workshop After Hours, your one-stop podcast for laughs and great painting advice. We come out at least every other week, barring emergencies and holidays, of course, covering a wide variety of hobby topics and basically talking about life in general. When you're not listening to us through your favorite podcatcher, you can find the entire crew hanging out at facebook.com/The Models Workshop. That's all one word smushed together, sharing all the cool things that we find floating around the internet and giving out painting advice. You can also find Larry on Twitter and Instagram at MWAH Podcast, and Yeji and Clint at the same at Snickernack, which is NICKERNACK. If you like what we do, please make sure to drop a quick review on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or whatever service you listen to us on. This helps us out greatly and gets the word of the After Hours out to everyone. Models Workshop is done out of pocket. We have no advertisers because we like to be able to be completely truthful with you. If you want to make a donation to help us out, you can at paypal.me/ patreon.com/modelsworkshop, or you can do a monthly service at patreon.com/modelsworkshop. Once again, thank you for listening. Until next time, grab those brushes, paints, and get to painting.